2,000 years ago, one man defined how humanity saw the world, and he got it wrong. His name was Claudius Ptolemy, a Greek scholar who lived in Alexandria, Egypt, during the 2nd century AD. He was a mathematician, astronomer, and geographer, and with ink, parchment, and imagination, he drew what became the most influential map in human history. A map that guided explorers, shaped empires, and misled the world for more than a millennium. In his monumental work Geographia, Ptolemy attempted something no one had done before, to chart the entire known world using mathematics. He introduced a grid system of latitude and longitude centuries before the invention of GPS. He gave coordinates to cities, rivers, and mountain ranges across Europe, Asia, and Africa. His map was a masterpiece of logic and ambition, but it was also deeply flawed. Ptolemy's information came from travelers, sailors, and ancient texts, not first-hand exploration. Without precise tools or reliable data, he had to make educated guesses. Africa was drawn far larger than it really was. India and Sri Lanka were misplaced. Europe looked distorted, and the Pacific Ocean didn't exist at all. Yet the most astonishing error of all was that Ptolemy believed the Indian Ocean was completely enclosed by land, an inland sea surrounded by unknown continents. This single mistake shaped global exploration for centuries. For medieval scholars, Ptolemy's map wasn't just a reference. It was truth. When his Geographia was rediscovered in Renaissance Europe, it was hailed as a scientific revelation. Cartographers redrew his map, explorers studied his coordinates, and his vision of the world became gospel. Even Christopher Columbus relied on Ptolemy's measurements when planning his voyage westward in 1492. Ptolemy had underestimated the circumference of the Earth, making Asia appear much closer than it really was. That miscalculation helped convince Columbus that sailing west to reach Asia was possible, and the rest is history. Ptolemy's map didn't just influence exploration, it shaped how entire civilizations imagined the unknown. His enclosed oceans, misplaced continents, and missing lands weren't simply errors, they became mysteries that sparked human curiosity. The blank spaces on his maps carried an unspoken challenge, to fill them with discovery. From Marco Polo's travels to Magellan's circumnavigation, generations of explorers tried to correct the mistakes Ptolemy had made. In a strange way, his inaccuracies gave birth to the Age of Discovery, but Ptolemy himself could never have imagined what his drawings would inspire. He lived in a world lit by oil lamps, where maps were copied by hand and bound in scrolls. He believed he was defining the limits of the Earth, not sketching the starting point of global exploration. His map was both a scientific triumph and a beautiful illusion, a vision of the world as humans wished to understand it. When later explorers finally proved Ptolemy wrong, when they crossed open oceans, discovered the Americas, and mapped the true shape of Africa, the illusion shattered. The world was far larger, more complex, and more connected than even the great Ptolemy had dared to dream. Yet despite his mistakes, his influence endures. The very idea of using coordinates, of understanding geography through data, was born from his imagination. Every modern map, every digital GPS system, every satellite image traces its intellectual roots back to Ptolemy's flawed vision. Claudius Ptolemy died nearly 1,900 years ago, but his errors traveled the world. His map misled sailors, inspired kings, and shaped empires. It's a reminder that even the greatest minds can be wrong, and that sometimes being wrong can change the course of human history. His mistake was monumental, but his ambition was greater. In trying to define the Earth, Ptolemy reshaped the way humanity thought about its place within it.